You both might have a different viewpoint. Our job is going to be to bring you both in a way together to make the best investment decisions.
Sometimes the time is right when the time is right. He is somebody I met in 2017. He always wanted to start with an investment in the Dubai market. And 2024 is what it was for him. He, along with another friend of his, wanted to really take a look at the Dubai market again and really start investing. So what we ended up doing is have them sign up on the Dubai Wealth Builder program. And it's a little bit of a challenge trying to get two friends who might think alike, can also think differently sometimes. Him and both of his friends were then escorted along into a strategy session. We then went on to help them virtually select properties, qualify based on the criteria that we established. One of them then visited Dubai. We went physically to see the properties, the different showrooms, and get a feel of the areas and the locations so that we could then make better decisions. The process took about maybe a month to 2 months, but the good thing is they win by getting the best property. Dubai wins by getting a great customer, great client. We win because we get to service them, and the real estate market in Dubai wins overall.
Good morning, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How is everybody? How is everybody on this lovely Saturday, December the 7th? Live with me, Fahd Dawood. Guys, if you've been following me for a while, then you know that I generally talk more about real estate in Dubai, but I do life in general as well. If you haven't ever had a chance and you want a quick summary of how to get into Dubai real estate, then there is this book that you can go out and get it. You can buy the actual physical book off Amazon, but if you want the ebook, then you can get it off our website as well. There is this book that was written in 2016. This one is very different. It's more of a personal life story. In my personal opinion, it is pretty good. I like it a lot, okay? Everybody here who's watching live on Instagram, Janejo, Basli, Sarah, Yasamina, Bushin, Salim, welcome. Everybody on YouTube, welcome as well. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have, okay? We want to talk about ROI, return on investment. Now, it's kind of funny. If you say, let's talk about ROI, return on investment, generally speaking, you're going to assume that I'm going to only talk about real estate, right? But I've got to say that ROI is technically connected to almost everything you do, right? So you can actually look at the ROI of going to university, right? So some people actually, so if you're very young, you probably don't and might not relate to this, but I remember that one of my professors back in university, and I don't remember what course he was teaching, maybe political science, but he was talking about this, and he said, look, and he was a PhD, and he said very clearly, to actually go from doing a bachelor's, like an undergrad in university, to getting your master's, there is a statistical chance, high probability, that you're going to increase your income potential over your lifespan by 35%. Yeah? So if you, whatever you're earning today, let's say 100,000 dirhams, let's say you earn 100,000 dirhams over your entire lifespan, or 100 million dirhams, let's say 100 million, big numbers. If you had a master's, there is the statistical probability that you would make $135 million over your lifespan. The 2 years or 1 year, sometimes master's program in 2 years, or the 1 years that you take to go back to university and invest in yourself and learn and grow, is valued generally by employers. Like, I am giving an example that was very relevant for 20 years ago, because people today are not even going to university and they're making tons of money. That's fine. But the statistics say the probability is that you would have made more money. But if you go on to do a PhD, and by the way, this is a probability, doesn't mean that everybody's going to do it. Some people might make 2 times the money. Some people might make not 35%, maybe they'll just make 15%, right? Because there's a lot of other elements that come into play as well, such as your emotional intelligence. Are you a good team player? Are you employable, right? But if you go on to do your PhD, there's a probability that you will only increase your life income by, guess what? Anybody can guess this number? Can you guess a number? Any number? Any number. Guess. That you would increase it by how much? Do you know? Anybody? Any guesses? Anybody who's listening? Everybody here? Sarah, Sinead, Ahsan Khan, Abi, Y, Bush, Rising Force, Basli, Kilav. Anybody take a guess? Only by 10%. So then that means if you go generally, this is statistics. Everybody watching on YouTube, hello, hi, send us a question if you'd like to. You would statistically only increase it by 10%. So ROI can be looked at everything. And generally speaking, when you're investing in real estate, a lot of people come in thinking, what's my return on investment going to be? Okay. I've got to say, look, when you're looking at return on investment, even when it comes to real estate, and everybody who's got, who's tuned in on Instagram or YouTube, if you've got a question, then you can ask me. If you want to go live with me, then you can also do that as well. Okay. So was that example clear? If you do your master's, you will increase your earning potential over life by 35%, high probability. But if you go on and then do a PhD, which is another 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, you will only increase by 10%. So do you know what that means? You should only do your PhD. You know what a PhD is, right? Like a doctorate, right? Really deep understanding of a subject. You should only do it if you're really passionate about that thing. Which goes to say, actually, most PhDs, I guess they're doing it because they like to do it, right? Okay, so guys, anybody who's here with respect to real estate, excuse me, I need to sneeze. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So if you guys got any real estate questions, I'm happy to take them. Everybody who's watching on YouTube, hello guys. I tend to not be able to see the names on YouTube, but that's okay. On Instagram, I can actually see who's joined me, and then I can pick on you and I count you out. Alessandro, okay, guys. If you guys have Rohini, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. If you guys have questions, please shoot them across. So when it comes to real estate, if you're trying to increase your ROI, this is what you do. Okay, you've got to add more value to whatever you're doing in that particular property. Thank you very much, Rohini, DXB Realtor. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You've got to add more value. So let's go to the simple basic tricks, right? What's like simple things that you could add as value to a potential property that you would like to rent out, right? Because if you buy a property, you want to rent it out. The simple things that you would furnish it. The simple things that you would put some white appliances in there. The simple things are you would... put some furniture, give some services around it, so on and so forth, right? Now, every time you add value, you can actually take higher ROI out, okay? But ROI is not just linked to adding value to the property. It's also linked to the entire cycle, which is how did you buy the property? Did you do your due diligence? Do you have certain information in your network where you can connect with certain brokers, people, developers, not just Dubai, but anywhere in the world where a deal is special, but you have inside access to it, right? If you have inside access to it, guess what happens? Generally speaking, you're bringing value to the table. Now, this value is not you adding value. It's the value of you knowing somebody, okay? So if you know somebody, that already is value. Now, why? Why would you know somebody? Now, I'm going to give you an example. There's a guy who actually ended up buying a train carriage in the US. I just read about this today. He bought a train carriage in the US for $3,000. Okay? And he converted that entire train carriage into an Airbnb experience on his land. He has a large farm. But how did he envision that train carriage to be able to host guests with a unique experience? He now makes almost $90,000 a year. because people are looking for unique experiences, right? But imagine how much value he added. But where did it all start? It all started because this person, there's a train watching hobby. There's a people like to watch trains. Okay, I'm not into it, but there are people who like to watch trains, new ones, old ones. They just like to watch trains. So this gentleman goes onto his neighbor's farm and he sees an old train carriage, an old train box from 1909, and he just sees it, and he's like, instantly, because he's been in trains around the world, he instantly understands what it would take to convert this train carriage box into a livable 1-bedroom living room little apartment on his thing, right? So he pays the guy $3,000. The train carriage at that time had cats living in it. There was algae or growing fungus, algae. Because it was on a farm, right? It had been there since 1909. Or it was a train carriage from 1909. It was just a box, just sitting there. You can actually find this story, right? Train carriage, and you can put it there. JVB asks a question. I'm coming to your question. Let me finish this point, right? So, JVB, do you know what I suggest? Get on a phone call with me. Help me understand who you are, where you're coming from, so that I can give you advice that's very relevant to you, okay? So there's a number here somewhere. I got your question, brother or sister. I don't know who you are, but you can get onto a phone call with me, and then we can have a little discussion, and I can actually give you better advice, okay? So check this out. So this guy, he sees this carriage that is rotting away, but instantly he sees the ability to convert it into a potential Airbnb. The thing is, the reason he did that is because he's already a train watcher, okay? He's a train watching enthusiast, okay? What are they called? Train watching enthusiasts. Rail fans. I think they're called train spotters or rail fans, okay? Train spotters. I know Train Spotting used to be a movie, right? So instantly he sees that. But you see why he sees that? Because he's already a rail fan or a train fan. So he sees the potential. For everybody else, it was just junk that had to be thrown away. But he's been around the world in probably amazing VIP carriages, and he's had those experiences, and he relates that other people would be willing to pay for that lovely VIP experience, even though that train's not moving anywhere. It's just going to be on a place. But if you walk in there, you feel like you're in a train. It's actually not a bad idea, by the way. So if somebody actually built a private plane experience into a hotel, not a real private plane, but it's a plane just standing somewhere, people would be like, yeah, we don't mind. They'd pay for that experience, right? So he's now making $90,000 per year from people trying to come and stay there. And he's added all of this, but of course he added a lot more value. He moved the train carriage there. They added actually $3,000 is what they bought the train carriage for, but they ended up adding about $150,000 more in fixing it, making it look nice, mahogany, leather, and all that. The point I'm trying to make is, guys, you've got to be adding value to the full chain. Now, the thing is, the value proposition starts from your knowledge, your information, from the property that you buy in the right location, and then the upgrades that you make, and so on and so forth. The more value you add, the better you will be at creating more return on investment for yourself. Okay? And if you can't do that, then just outsource and get somebody else to help you add that value, right? So if you want the shortcut or the long cut to being able to make more money, ROI, it's very simple. Get more knowledge. Okay? Get more knowledge. Then action upon that knowledge. Then get experience from that knowledge, and then repeat. Okay? So let's take up question from JVB. JVB, is JVB coming online? Do we have JVB live with us? Everybody who's watching, Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Sarah, Sinead, Rohini, Kamraj, Abi, Sri, Double Real Estate, Saud, Assalamu alaikum, FD Global Properties, everybody who's watching on YouTube as well, welcome guys. Okay, so I'm going to answer this question on JVB. Can I do that? Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Because it feels like YouTube or Instagram's it's a little bit stuck. So maybe I give it a few moments so that we can unstuck ourselves. And then I want to answer JVB. All right, JVB, please can you give me the best tips on how to become an exceptional real estate agent? Okay. How to and how and where to find rich investors using the internet. Okay, exceptional real estate agent. Okay, life, real estate, and processes, and lead generation. I wish that we will someday create some courses around this and then be able to distribute these to you. Okay. Okay, JVB, let me answer your question, okay? So I don't think I've got you online with me on the phone, but I want to answer your questions right now. Best tips to becoming an exceptional real estate agent and how and where to find. Okay, one of the things is, I'm gonna talk philosophy first of all. First of all, dream to become the best real estate agent and then live that dream every day, believing that it's coming true. Okay, I'm gonna explain something to you. A lot of, I don't know if you understand any Urdu or English or Hindi if I speak some, but a lot of people are in a hurry. Guys, please look at any profession around you in this world, any profession, and then come and tell me that that person, whoever is that expert in that profession, is superb overnight. Yeah, you might see that they did one thing great one time, but come back to me and show me anybody who's done greatness overnight, forever. Okay, what's his name? Malcolm Gladwell talks about this. It takes 10 years, 10,000 hours of practicing something to become really, really good. Okay, so now I'm not saying that, oh my God, it'll take you 10 years to become really, really good. I'm saying dream about becoming great and then live the dream every day, every single day. Believe that you're becoming good and do the things that need to be done to learn and when you're learning and when you're growing and even when the deals are going your way and when the deals are not going your way, just accept that, look, you know what's going on? I'm getting better. I'm living the dream. So first of all, understand that. Instagram's out, by the way, yeah? Yeah, we're back. So first of all, do that. Then, JVB, there's 3 areas that you need to focus on. If you can't get these 3 areas correct, it's going to be challenging. This is just my opinion, but you might be able to identify these. Number 1 is your life. Okay, so you can't become an exceptional real estate agent if you've got issues in your personal life. By issues in your personal life, I don't mean like everybody's got some issues in their personal life, but issues that are in your control and you are not reining them in. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. If you've got, I don't know, in your personal life, if you've got, I'm not going to say issue, but let's say, for example, you're responsible for driving your kids to school and picking them up, okay? For XYZ reason, you can't have the school bus do that. And you alone, while you're working in real estate, are responsible, okay? This is something unavoidable. You do it. You learn with it. In fact, perhaps you cherish the time you spend with your children. And then you go on with it, okay? So these aren't issues that I'm talking about. Issues are if you have a habit of, I don't want to call it negative, but if you have a habit of watching Netflix shows, if you have a habit of binging on Netflix shows, right? So if you do this late night till 4 a.m. and then you're expecting to go to work at 8 a.m. and be productive, not going to happen. If you have a habit of hanging with your friends till late night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then you're trying to go and kill it at work, it's going to be challenging. In my personal opinion, it's going to be very, very challenging. Okay, so when it comes to, or if you don't have a habit in your life to read, like, I don't know, like, or to learn from other people, or to be open to be learning from other people, or if you've got personal issues around being very angry, or if you've got a huge ego which doesn't allow you to learn from other people, or you're not self-aware, these things you've got to address. Like, you've got to address both on an emotional level and a physical level, right? If you're in, I don't know, maybe I'll say bad relationships with friends, right? Drop the friends, okay? So first thing you've got to fix is your life, your personal life, like completely fix it. And it's not enough to just leave bad friends. It's you've got to go out and make good friends as well. Like, you can't be on your own, okay? So fix your personal life, number one. Number two is learn everything there is to learn about Dubai real estate, okay? What do I mean by that? There are maybe about 100 developers right now. Go out there and learn about them, okay? Now, you might not be selling everything. You might not be selling everything, but at least choose one category. Let's say you're operating in the mid-high-end category. At least there'll be about 12 to 15 developers in the mid-high-end category. Mid-high-end category, okay? Not luxury, not ultra-luxury, but mid-high-end category, right? You've got to know every single one of them and everything about them, okay, in Dubai. Per square foot, where they are, what are their previous projects, and I don't know, like, maybe some of you don't want to spend time on doing this, but you've got to. Like, when buyers come and ask you, and you're selling a particular property, and they ask, like, who developed this? How old has this? Like, they will ask you these questions. How old is this building? And if you go, that's fine on a couple of questions, but if you go on like 4 out of 5 questions, they're gonna instantly know they're not dealing with an expert in that subject matter. Okay, you might be an expert in whatever you love to do and you've gained a lot of knowledge about, let's say, cars, but they'll instantly know that you're not an expert about real estate in this arena. So if you go, bad. Okay, so you've got to learn a lot about real estate. Thirdly, learn about real estate structuring, the processes, okay, in Dubai. They're very simple. They're not complicated, but there are a lot of eventualities that take place, okay? Like, how to sell resell, how to sell off plan, how to sell resell, how to sell non-resell. What is non-resell? Okay, there's no such thing as non-resell, but how to sell off-market listings, how to get a seller to agree to pay you for your time and for your money, so on and so forth. Get these 3 areas really down packed. And then how do you do this? Do you do this every single day? Like, you go ahead first and dive in. For example, if you've got a colleague, you're sitting in the office doing nothing. You've got a colleague who's going to a viewing in Jumeirah Lake Towers. You're already doing nothing. And let's say you've not been to Jumeirah Lake Towers recently. You're like, hey, can I tag along? This is like given if your colleague trusts you, right? And likes you. And you're going to be there and help him. Like, say, or you say, hey, I'll drive you there. I'll park the car. I just want to come and see the listing, right? So we used to always say, like, you should be visiting 10 new properties a month. Okay. Last but not the least, you're a lead generation machine. Rich investors online, everybody's trying to get them. Create some ads, do some blogging, vlogging, and so on and so forth. And maybe you'll get there, right? Okay. JVB asks, okay, FD, is winning the investor over with honesty, for example, revealing the complete details to a client, like, for instance, if dash apartment quality is. So I have a policy. I don't mention developers, especially I don't mention any developers in a non-positive way. It's because the reason I don't do that is because all of them are doing their best to make sure that they are providing value to their end clients. Okay. Now I will say this, and I'll tell you this. Of course, yes, you have to be completely honest, but you can't. What your opinion is about a particular developer, sometimes it might not be relevant. I'll explain to you why, guys. Listen. If you come to me and you say, I've got 500,000 dirhams, buy me the best apartment possible, I cannot buy you an apartment in downtown. So I'm going to tell you, like, yes, sure, I'll buy you a decent, best apartment in some of the residential areas of Dubai, which are very good. JVC, Sports City, or John, Motor City, maybe not Motor City. I don't think that it has anything at that price point. Or, Town Square or Dubai South, so on and so forth, right? Like, let's see what a studio in Town Square is now. Let's see. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to be surprised at... Okay, so 470,000. Okay? Well-maintained boulevard. Okay? No problem. 470,000. So... So check this out, right? So yes, so I would tell people, like, look, downtown is pretty good, but come have a look at residential areas like JVC as well. And if somebody's like, yeah, I have 500,000 dirhams and I want to buy in downtown, I would say, okay, no problem. Come with me to downtown. Let's look at a few studios. And then we'll look at a few studios and they'll ask me the price and I'll say, or I'll send them the listing if you want to save time. I'll be like, look, it's 1.2 million dirhams. Sometimes the reason I might do that is because sometimes they have more money. They just told you 500,000, but they have more money. But you've got to preempt it by telling them, look, I'll take you to studios in downtown and Business Bay, but I'm just showing that to you just so you get an idea of quality. And then if they do truly have more money, you know what they're going to say? Yeah, I have more money, so let's stick to downtown. But then you can say, look, I still want you to see, what do you call this place? Let's come with me to Town Square. Okay. And then you take them to Town Square and say, look, this studio is about 470,000. And in that scenario, they might say, oh, okay, if they don't have enough money, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, this is what I want to pay. This is what I want to pay. Right. So, you kind of like, but you don't have to tell them, oh, JVC is good, JVC is bad, downtown's too expensive for you, downtown has no capital appreciation for you, blah, 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 blah. Display the wares, guide them accordingly. Right? If they ask questions, let them make the decisions. JVB asks, FD, how do I meet Monaco investors so that I close my first deal? So that my quick injection of cash that comes from closing my first deal will be able to give me a breathing space. It's interesting. First of all, if you say, how do I meet Monaco investors? What's Monaco? It's a place, right? It's a place next to France. It's a place like very famous, right? I guess go to Monaco, right? So if you want to meet investors in Monaco, first of all, go to Monaco, okay? Number one. Number two, I've got to share with you my personal experience. Look, I've been doing real estate for a long time. Tons of deals, tons of sales, alhamdulillah. Nothing from me, all from God. I've rarely seen some people come into the market new and young and be able to take down huge whale investors. It has happened. One of my friends did that. I think one of his first deals was a hotel sale. But I gotta say, like, his background was like, you could put, like, there's some people, you could drop them into the jungle and he'll probably negotiate with the king to become the king's minister, which is the lion, okay? And there are some people you could drop them into like the Amazon and this guy is going to survive. Like, the Amazon has tribes that have never been discovered. Do you know this? They show some pictures sometimes, right? So imagine somebody gets dropped there and that this person has the ability to survive and not get... It's wrong to say that they would kill him because maybe they don't kill him. Maybe they make him one of theirs. But this person has the ability to actually go there, survive. It's like a hustler, okay? Go there, live, and probably get married into the tribe and have children with them. And then there's other people, if you talk to them about dropping them with a parachute in the Amazon jungle, you'll see them nervous and sweating. So if you have that within you, yeah, then you can do your first deal with the Monaco investor, because you got to understand that these Monaco investors, and then you're trying to make big deals with them, they smell hunger. If you're a hungry wolf, lioness, and you're trying to, bring down this first deal, they can smell it. They don't like to deal with people who are just hungry for the commissions. They want value. They want service. Are you able to provide that? As I said, I've seen that only once in my career. And even this person, I saw that later on they pivoted. They pivoted to doing other deals. Because for a long time, they would not look at smaller deals, and they would say, no, I'm not going to look at anything small. It's too below me. I'll just stick to my stuff, right? So I've seen it very rarely that they would pivot. Everybody who's here, welcome. Rohini, welcome. Kamraj, welcome. Garden Rose, welcome. Send me questions. Abi Sri, welcome. Muhammad Akib, welcome on Instagram. Everybody who's watching on YouTube, welcome as well. Hey guys, send me your questions. Rohini, thank you very much for being here. Rose Garden, thank you very much for being here. You can send me questions and I'm happy to engage and answer. Abi, if you got questions, Akib, everybody on YouTube is watching, thank you. I love getting questions from you guys, because what it does is it allows me to engage with you guys, and then it allows me to actually reply and respond to you in a very particular way, understanding who my audience is, where they're coming from, and share some love back, right? Okay, guys. So I hope that answered your question, JVB. I understand you want to do your first big deal, but you got to come up to it, right? So if you're a real true hustler, just go to Monaco and you will be able to get on with it, okay? JVP asks another question. I wish you could call us, man. If you called us, we could actually take you on a phone call. Anybody who's got questions coming up, please, if you want to call us, we'd be happy to take your question live, okay? JVP asks another question. FD, please share your 5 best moments and memories in your real estate career, and also tell us about your first real estate deal ever. Okay, I can definitely tell you about my first real estate deal. There's quite a few first, because my first real estate deal was back in 2008, where I ended up investing myself with my partner, which kind of like, we could say it kind of like went a little bit south, okay? Everybody here who's here, welcome guys again. Atika, Muhammad Akib, Garden Rose, Rahini. Listen, love to have questions. So Garden Rose Fields, what time do you come live? Is it Friday or Saturday? We go live on Saturdays. Now, Saturdays are new time. Saturdays are generally new time. 11 is our generally new time, okay? Generally speaking, it is Saturday at 11. Sometimes it goes a little bit haywire, up and down. It depends on some other things that might come in my schedule. So then it doesn't happen on a Saturday. But generally speaking, you could consider that Saturday is our time. Guys, I'd love to, thank you very much for that question. Okay, Jinu, how are you? Rohini, hey. Garden Rose, hello. Akib, Atika, hey, thank you very much for your questions. Okay, Garden Rose, okay, you're welcome. So guys, if you guys have questions, happy to answer. Please shoot them across. JVB asks me, tell us about your first deal ever. So my first deal, so I'm going to tell you, 2008 was one of my first deals. Lots of drama behind it. We ended up getting a booking for one of the top developers, and we get there on the day. It was a Saturday. Me and my partner, we get there on the day. Our appointment, like we had like a token. We had like a token, right? Our appointment was 8 a.m. and we end up getting there at 7:30, and they never opened the doors. You know what they did? We ended up actually waiting till 11, 12, on and on and on. They never opened the doors, and we found that they were selling all the good apartments to their friends and families first. We ended up getting in at 10 or 11, and then we ended up buying something that was not a good purchase at that time, okay? That was one of my first deals. Then there was another deal in 2009 I can tell you about. This is so much drama, I'll tell you. 2009, nobody was buying, but one of my friends wanted to buy a plot of land. And what ended up happening is we get into a transaction. It's 2+ million dirhams. And right 1 week later, my friend has this epiphany, this desire to move from this country. Like, we spent 6 months trying to find the perfect land. We put a deposit down of about 200,000 dirhams. And then he decides and desires. I was his advisor on the transaction. He decides and desires that he must move from the UAE to another country. And now we're trying to undo the transaction, but then the seller wouldn't let us do it because he really needed to sell. We ended up buying, and then we ended up selling this plot of land in 2013. So 2010, 11, 12 were bad years for holding this land. We weren't getting the offers that we wanted. And then we ended up selling it in 2013 at a profit of, it was a good profit, about 40%, 50%. Because I remember that we ended up making a decent amount of money afterwards, right? So that was one of my deals. Then do you want to know more? There was another deal that's very memorable in 2013. Young couple, I sold them something in, where did I sell them? I ended up selling them something in Dubai Silicon Oasis. Lots of drama around that deal as well. You guys want to hear this? Okay. I'll tell you about this. Okay. MS Ansari, Assalamu alaikum. MSA was my old YouTube. Yes, I remember. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? Everybody who's here, welcome. Rohimini, Abisri, Ake, Atika. Hey guys, there is a phone number as well. You guys can actually call in and then talk to me any questions that you have. So let me talk to you about this deal in 2013. This is a very funny deal, very interesting deal. We ended up selling a 2-bedroom. I ended up selling a 2-bedroom, alhamdulillah, to a young couple who ended up coming and buying an apartment. But one thing that was very important for them was to live in that. So this is funny because they've probably loved living in that apartment from 2013 for 11 years. Protected from all the rent hikes and lows. So it was a great place. I'm sure that they raised great kids there and lived very happily even if they sold their apartment. I can still call the guy. I still remember his name. I don't want to mention him live, but I still remember his name. I forget the spouse's name, but great family. But I remember when we were in the transaction, what ended up happening is they came to us and they said, look, we can't continue with this transaction. Why? They were short on money. Oh my God. What happened? They're like, look, the spouse also worked. So they said, look, we can actually sell this. No, we can take her salary that's coming at the end of the month, put this towards the transaction. It was a small 2-bedroom apartment. No, it was a small price. It was only 650,000 back then. We're talking 11 years ago. This apartment's probably over 1 million dirhams now. But they said, look, we can take his wife's salary, put it towards the apartment price, and then they would be able to close the transaction. But they would have to live only on the husband's salary for the entire month. So I went back to my mentor, JVB, I'm going to answer your question. I went back to my mentor and I said to my mentor, okay, like, look, they want to back out of the transaction. We went to the seller. Seller said they can back out, but they got to pay me my penalty, which is 65,000 dirhams. So I told them, like, listen, just, try to do your best, finish the transaction. So I think they ended up finishing the transaction. They paid half my commission before and then half 1 month later. But one of the interesting things was there were some people living there who, this is like 12 years ago. So the rules were not very clear about when people buy an apartment, what are the rights of the old tenants. So the old tenants had told me that they would leave, but because it was only young men who were living there, using it for their proximity to the university. They were like using it as a crash pad. Anyways, long story short, I had to then deal with moving the original tenants out, arranging movers for them, and alhamdulillah, they moved out. JVB, please share your 5 best moments and memories in your real estate career and also tell us about your first real estate deal ever. Told you about 3 of my first firsts. 5 best moments. Wallahi, alhamdulillah, yani all moments. When I look back, alhamdulillah, all moments are good moments. I think I would say the lowest moments, all moments are good moments. There is a little bit of a dopamine kick you get when you close a transaction or you get the commission checks in your hand. Some moments that at that time I thought were low moments was when I lost a transaction, which really, it wasn't even my deal. But I was like too young, too naive, too amateurish, and I spent too much time focusing on things that were not really positive, like, stuff that didn't really matter, right? I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Everybody who's on Instagram Live, some of you guys have been here with me. I'd love to hear what have been your high moments. It could be life, could be real estate, right? Something really, really superb that you've enjoyed in life a lot. Share that with me here, right? Some of the high moments. Unfortunately, on YouTube, I can't see your names, guys. So I can't call you out. But on Instagram, I can see and I can call you guys out, right? So love to hear from you guys. What were your top moments as well? Emerson Sari asks, catching you live after a long time as I was traveling for the past few months. If you were traveling, this is not a live audience event. You could have caught me virtually. I don't understand. No, I'm joking. Thank you very much for coming back, okay? Good to see you, mashallah. What are your thoughts on the announcement of Bahria Town community in Dubai South? I must say it was my old YouTube. Yes, I remember, mashallah. I haven't gotten a lot of details out of it, but I think it'd be quite interesting. Why not? MashaAllah, right? I've just seen the press releases at the moment. So I don't remember the entire I don't remember and I don't understand the entire situation with regards to how big the area is going to be, what they're going to be building, how they're going to be building it, so on and so forth. Okay, so I don't have all the information. I think it's good news. It's another developer that's got good long standing in Pakistan coming into Dubai. They've done a lot of work and a lot of good work in Dubai and Pakistan, right? So if they're coming in, then that's great. FD, please share who was your mentor in real estate and what were your main takeaways that you learned from him. Please share your nuggets of wisdom in real estate. Look, I had one of my first mentors was a gentleman by the name of Maroof, and then there's a lot of other people as well. There was Maroof Kazi, there was Samir Munshi, and here's the funny thing. If I was to advise you guys on seeking mentorship, on going and learning from other people, okay? Everybody who's live and who's watching, I would advise you in this way. Don't seek to be completely attached to a mentor. Be working in transactions, deals, and in close proximity to that mentor. And what it allows you to do is whenever you get problems coming in, you can go and ask them. It's kind of like, it's a little bit challenging if you are going to just try to be spoon fed by them. You got to be your own person, but be in close proximity to them to be able to be able to develop with them, help them, and gain from them. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. All right, okay. All right, guys, we're going to be ending this live soon. Just taking some last questions. Thank you, everybody who's been live with me. Rose, Garden, Abhisri, Revenant 666, Arkib, everybody who's been watching live on YouTube. Thank you very much for the hearts. Okay, check this out. FD, the wise avoid trouble by learning from other mishaps. So what red flags I should look out for while being an agent? Drawing parallels to Spider-Man and his spidey sense tingling when trouble arrive. Look, like for instance, there's a lot of red flags. Like if you want to know about developers, then some not so good things are when developers are not escrow compliant. Okay, so that's one thing basic. Okay, I'm not naming any developers, but these are basic things. Okay, which you would have learned in your ethical course, if you would have learned in your RERA course, right? So these are basic, absolute basic things. if you talk about red flags with agents, look, a lot of this you're gonna have to learn. Like, it's kind of like Spider-Man has this sense, but then Spider-Man never ever actually gets into real trouble. Like, he always gets out of trouble. Okay, with real estate, you might actually have an ability. You might actually fall in some danger sometimes, and you might have to actually deal with it. Right? For example, I'll give you an example. Dealing with real estate agents who are not registered with RERA, that's a red flag. Okay, or dealing with real estate agents who are rude, rough, unprofessional. It's a challenge. I end up dealing with a lot of these agents sometimes because they are tired of non-professional agents, but then when they realize that we're professionals, they start being nice and they start dealing with us and we're happy. But you're not going to be able to preempt everything. If you were, it's kind of like saying, tell me how I can go through life and never have any problems. But if there's any problems that might come, just allow me and tell me how I can preempt them. Then the answer is, don't live life. Like, what do you want to do? Are you ready to live life on your terms and then step forward with courage and being brave? Or do you want to always be afraid? And if you want to be afraid, that's fine. There's a lot of people who live life like that, and that's okay. Alhamdulillah. Choose where you want to be and how you want to live your life. Simple, right? So if you want to live your life, you will get challenges. If you get challenges, what do? Overcome them. If you get challenges which are very, very big, you learn from them. If you get challenges that drop you down, you get up and you go back again. So if you are looking for all the red flags that you would be able to get in your life so that you can completely avoid them, ain't gonna happen, brother. Ain't gonna happen, all right? So Bismillah, go forth, do well. Inshallah, everything's going to be a-okay, all right? I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for everybody who joined in. Thank you very much for everybody who sent in questions. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Alhamdulillah. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
You both might have a different viewpoint. Our job is going to be to bring you both in a way together to make the best investment decision.
You know, sometimes the time is right when the time is right. He is somebody I met in 2017. He always wanted to start with an investment in the Dubai market. And 2024 is what it was for him. He, along with another friend of his, wanted to really take a look at the Dubai market again and really start investing. So what we ended up doing is have them sign up on the Dubai Wealth Builder program. And it's a little bit of a challenge trying to get two friends who might think alike, can also think differently sometimes. Him and both of his friends were then escorted along into a strategy session. We then went on to help them virtually select properties, qualify based on the criteria that we established. One of them then visited Dubai. We went physically to see the properties, the different showrooms, and get a feel of the areas and the locations so that we could then make better decisions. The process took about maybe a month to 2 months, but the good thing is they win by getting the best property. Dubai wins by getting a great customer, great client. We win because we get to service them, and the real estate market in Dubai wins overall.